Okay, so in this video we're going to display how the Revit IFC exporter works after we installed in the previous video. Alright, so we can open now. We have a project, sample project already open. We're using now version 2025. So we could go to a 3D view. Alright, so now we have here the new tab called CHEK. So here we will find the IFC exporter, right? So we can open now the tool. So it will display this window, all right? So in this window, what we can see is the IDS file, which is the main input. And based on this, it will display all the related properties attached to this IDS file. Okay, so first the user needs to select the IDS file that they will use. So in this case, for example, we can use the first one. So now in the table, what we can see is the entities, the properties from the IDS file, and the related Revit elements, in this case the categories, and the parameters that could be mapped to each property. So the exportation final IFC result has the data, all the values coming from the Revit parameters set on the IFC property that is defined based on the IDS specification. Okay, so we will, in this case, map some of these properties to export. For example, we have some custom properties defined for the IFC building. For example, type of construction. In this case, we could map, for example, to building or design option. I think in this case is better, design option. For height, we will need to create a new parameter. Okay, so the user will need to create a new parameter in Revit and then associate it to this, because the default ones don't have this information, right? So in this case, we will just add any other property. So at the end, it's up to the user to define which properties and parameters they will map. All right. So in this case, we will just select some properties. So in case for the roof, for example, they can do the same. In this case, what we can do is we can assign some comments. We will map to the comment parameter to the roof angle, right? All right. So after we already mapped some properties, we are going to set, for example, a value just to double check that. For example, we have a roof category in Revit. We will assign this value inside this parameter, so that we can see the value exported in the IFC file. For example, in this case, it's a roof angle, so we will just set this value to 5, for example. Okay. Then we will double check this value. All right. We also have in the UI the options to export only the active view and the entire model. So it's up to the user to define which one they want to use. Also, they can use the search bar to find any specific property that they want to use. For example, I just need the properties related to the roof. They can filter all these properties. After all this is mapped, they will need to define or select the setup base. This setup base, now we're covering the IFC schema version 4 and the model view definition of reference view. Okay, so the user needs to make sure that they're using one of these setup bases that have this MBD reference view and schema version 4. Okay, so also the user can define the output folder path. In this case, we're just using the document. One more thing that the user can do is map the predefined psets. The psets are predefined by the IFC schema. So for example, this is external property is predefined by building smart in the IFC schema. And also this is assigned to a default Revit parameter. So if the user has this assigned to another parameter, if they click here, it will set the default mapped parameter from the Revit exporter itself. So it will go back basically to default. Okay. One more thing that we can do is after the user creates some parameters, they can refresh or reload the data, and they will have all the new listed parameters in each input. Okay. So after the user configures everything, they now are ready to export to IFC. So we can export to IFC. But we could also save all these templates so we don't need to uh, configure each time we need to use. And also we can share this between colleagues. Okay, so they can just go to this button, save as, and define a profile name. Okay, save, and we already have defined the profile. So then from this button, they can share the same file. They can download and share the file. All right. Okay, so now we can just export. It will take a few seconds. So I will pause the video while it loads. Okay, so now the exportation is completed. We have this small window where we can open the folder. Okay, so we can click on open. So it displays this folder after we clicked on open. So from here we can now inspect our IFC file. Right, so I will open the file with IFC viewer, in this case, with any IFC viewer. It will take a few seconds till it opens. So we can now inspect if it has correct data exported. All right, so it's loading. Okay, so if I move this to the correct screen, now we can check our model and review the instance that we modified to double check. So in this case, the roof, we just modified and we added the value of 5. So it's correct as we can see here. All right. So that's it for the IBC exporter workflow in Revit. Thanks.